All right, welcome to math today. Just told our class today's the last day we're working on this concept, and you're going to take a quiz tomorrow. So make sure you are following along and listening. We are on page 173 in your instruction book. Make sure you're there. If you don't have it ready, go pause. And we're starting on number 25. So no new information today, okay? We are just reviewing, so you're ready for your quiz. So if you've got a question burning a hole in your pocket, should you ask it today? Yeah. Please do. All right. I need a reader for number 25 to read about the king family. Abby.
The picture at the right shows the amount of pizza the king family had left over from the Christmas celebration. Like the leftover amount of pizza that as a mixed number.
Okay. So first of all, when you have a word problem, I really do want you to start marking it up, finding all your important stuff. What's important in this word problem that we're going to need? Cadence? Okay. Is our picture important?
Yeah.
Okay, so the picture at the right shows the amount of pizza they had left over. I think that leftover part is very important, right? That shows what they've got left.
Remainder.
Do we need to really focus on the fact that they're at a family celebration? Is that important right now?
No.
No. Okay, so the extra details, that's why I only highlight and box and circle the things I need to know. Can we make sure that our Chromebook is closed? Thank you, sir. All right. So now, our question, we need to write the leftover amount of pizza as a mixed number. Now, here's an important question. Right now, I need you to tell me, is this a mixed number or is this a mixed number? Someone raise your hand and tell me. Josiah?
The 1/2.
1.5 is a mixed number. Why is it a mixed number?
Because it's the other one's an improper fraction, and a mixed number is when you know where there's one left and then there's a little bit left over.
Right, so a mixed number means it's mixed. There is a whole number and a fraction. We mix them together, it's a mixed number, okay? So they want us to write a mixed number. So we're going to need a whole number and a fraction. They do not want an improper fraction. All right, so it shows the amount of pizza left over. So it looks like, is this whole pizza still there? Okay, make sure you're with me. Is this whole pizza still there? What fraction of this pizza remains? Hayden?
3. No. 5.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So I have 5 pieces out of how many? What is my denominator?
8.
8. So I have one whole pizza here, right? I could also say it's 8 eighths. But we know that means one whole thing. And then on my second pizza, I have 5 eighths. So how do I write my mixed number? This really is not hard. So if you're making this part hard, you shouldn't. Abby?
For your mixed number, you put 1 and 5/8.
That's it. Okay? Someone else explained to me how she knew we'd write 1 and 5/8 to make our mixed number. Eric?
What?
So this is how much pizza they had left, what's shaded. And I said we need to write the amount they have left as a mixed number. And she said we need to write 1 and 5/8. And I said, how do we know that? All right, hold on, friends. I got to pause. And we're back. Okay, so we're talking about how we need to write 1 and then 5/8 as a mixed number of 1 and 5/8. Eric, do we literally just push the pieces together? I just write my 1 and then I write my 5/8? Is it really that easy, guys?
Yes.
It really is. So your answer right here, showing our work, I mean, if you marked around on there like I did, I think that's fine. So we have 1 and 5/8. Questions? Not too bad, right? Okay, I'm going to scroll so we can see 26. I need a reader to read number 26. Eden.
Each carton holds 4 cups of fruit juice. There are 5 1/4 cartons. Which improper fraction shows the same amount of as 5 1/5? Circle the letter of the circle. My tongue.
It happens some days. You got it?
Circle the letter of the correct answer.
Okay, nice job. So this time, you all find all the important stuff on your own. Don't look up here till you're done and see if we all found the same things, okay? We need to practice this more. So you have to have your pencil out. Your eyes have to be open. You have to look at your book, okay? Find all your important stuff. So once you think you've found important stuff, make sure we've all kind of found the same types of things that are important. You're all very good at this when you choose to do it. I'm just hoping I encourage you to choose to do this more often. And the other important thing, in our directions, you know, sometimes it'll say circle all of the letters of the correct answers, or circle all of the correct options. This one just says circle the letter of the correct answer. So we need one answer, right? What should we do first? Liam, what are you thinking?
Count the, how much cartons are there, and, how much is in the cartons.
Okay. So, each carton we know holds 4 cups of juice, right? And how many cartons, he said we need to look at that? We have 5 1/4. So here's 1, right? Full carton. 2, 3, 4, 5. So that represents my whole number. And then I have 1/4 of my last carton. So we need to write an improper fraction that shows the same amount as 5 1/4. We have 2 ways of doing this. So I'm going to make us do it both ways so you remember you've got 2 options. So please split your work area down the middle. The first way you can do this is by counting. Does anyone remember how I can look at this and count to see how many fourths I've got total? Cadence? I just count all of them, right? And I can even go 4, 8, 12, like I can skip count, right? 4, 8, 12, 16, 21. 21 over, what would be my denominator? Hayden?
4.
4. So I could just count them all. So if I count my pieces, please write this down. I would have, what did I say, 21? 21 fourths. We can make an equivalent fraction that way. We've done that many times. So you really literally are just counting your spaces. And I've showed you this before, but it's like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, so on and so on. Does anyone remember the other way to change a mixed number to an improper fraction? It's our fun trick that I think we all really like. Noah?
You times the 4 with the 5 and add what you get from 4 to 5 to the 1.
Excellent. So if you don't remember the trick, on your other side, write the mixed number down. Remember, we always start in the basement, and we go up here to our whole number. 4 times 5 is 20. Then I go up here to the roof. 20 plus 1 is 21. Do I always keep my denominator the same? Yeah, 21 fourths. So both ways will work. If you don't have a model drawn out for you, that way can be harder because you have to draw your whole model and make sure you're accurate. But both ways work just fine. So you are able to choose. Does anyone have a favorite method they'd like to share? Which one do you like better? Hayden?
Well, I like counting my pieces.
You like counting your pieces. Okay. Maybe you're very visual. Liam?
I got A.
You got A. All right. Well, where'd that 5 come from?
I counted the cartons, how much were they filled.
Okay, so that's your whole number, right? So if you did the trick, okay, you have to have a 4 in the denominator because this is split up into 4 pieces, right? Each of these. So that is where your denominator comes from.
I was counting how much there were full.
Got it. So that's when you have a mixed number. That'd be your whole number. The full ones, that's what this 5 means. So I have 5 whole things and 1/4 left over. Eric?
Eva was like, Liam.
You what?
Eva was like one.
Oh, yeah, we're going to check someone. So let's go ahead and circle our answer, which should be B. All right, and now, yes, this fella, Evan here, he chose A as his answer. How did he get that answer?
Probably how Liam explained it.
Did that make sense? Kind of. Sometimes you can even, people can think through math in a lot of ways. I've learned that as a teacher. So there's a lot of ways to think that through. I'm going to think about it for a second and see what I think. 21/5. How could he have done that? Cadence, what are you thinking?
It's about this, but I thought, at first part I was gonna have like the fourth and fourth together.
Yeah. Madeline, what do you think?
So he counted all of them, and then since that one wasn't whole, he only counted the ones that were all shaded, so he got 21/5.
Okay, so maybe instead of knowing that the denominator of the 4 comes from how many pieces each shape is split into, maybe he said, well, there's 5 whole things. That could be possible. You could write that down. Josiah?
I think he switched the denominators.
Oh. So you think maybe he had 4 and 1/4? Would that have gotten us to the same spot?
Yeah.
4 and 1/5, I mean.
Yeah.
Right? So if he had written 4 and 1/5, let's see, if I multiply 5 times 4, I'd get 20, plus 1 would be 21/5. So that could definitely be a possibility, okay? So I don't care what you write something down to explain why he could have messed that up. Okay, I think I'm going to kind of go with what Josiah just said, because that made the most sense to me, okay? So everyone's brain's different. Write something down. If you have a different idea, you can write what you need to. Make sure you're writing. I can't stay here too long. We've got to keep moving. All right. Now we're on to the independent practice. We're doing this part together. It should not take too long. Okay. So I need you all to turn the page. Shh. So we're on page 174, number 1. All right, which model below shows the mixed number 2 and 5/10? All right, there are a lot of strategies to solve this, but the first thing I'm going to recommend you do always is find your whole number amount. Do I need 2 entire things all the way shaded in for this to work?
Yeah.
Yes, that is what a whole number is. So my whole number of 2 is what I'm looking for first. Do any of these not have 2 whole things shaded in? Josiah?
A B.
B. Okay, I don't have 2 whole things. I only have parts of things. So I'm going to go ahead and right now just get rid of it. Don't even consider it. All right, are there any others up here, maybe that don't show a whole number and a fraction? Because we have a mixed number. We have to have both of these shown in our picture. Cadence? Yeah, well, D does have a whole number and part of a fraction. So let's hold on. But look at C. How can I know just by looking that C won't work for this mixed number?
Because there's no outs, or there's no whites.
Yeah, I have a fraction, right? Have they shown us a fraction of a whole on this picture?
No.
No, I have 2 whole things, so that won't work. All right, so now we are down to the only 2 that even have a chance of being right. So Cadence, I wasn't saying you were wrong or right. I just wanted to eliminate these that don't match the problem. So if I'm looking at A, okay, here's 1 whole thing, here's 1 whole thing. What fraction is shaded down here? Noah?
5/10.
5/10. So 1 plus 1 is 2. Is this 2 and 5/10?
Yep.
That's what I think. I'm going to double check and make sure. All right, this shows me 2 whole things, right? 1 whole thing, 1 whole thing, and then, 2/5. Is that the same?
No.
No. So that one won't work. So it has to be A.
2 and 2/5. That would be it.
All right, nice job. Let's take a look at number 2. Who would like to read number 2? Hudson, go for it.
Which improper fraction is the equivalent to 2/5?
All right, so we need to find an improper fraction that is equivalent or equal to 2 and 5/10. So my advice, because I always struggle with multiple choice, I always make them too hard when I shouldn't, or too easy when I shouldn't. So sometimes it helps me to just cover up and just read the problem. I need an improper fraction that's equivalent to that number. Can we make our own and then see if we find that answer? That's what I recommend, okay? So let's write this to the side. We have 2 and 5/10. And I want to turn it into an improper fraction. Where do I always start on a mixed number to turn it into an improper fraction? Noah?
At the 10.
Yep, we start in the bottom. So remember, we start here and we multiply up to the 2.
The trick is a little hard.
That's why we're still working on it, right? Just make sure you're listening. We start in the basement, multiply by our whole number. So 10 times 2 is what?
20.
20. Make sure you raise your hand. And then if I add on 5 more, Angie, what would I have?
25.
25.
25.
My denominator, I just copy over. So these are equivalent. And now we check to see if 25/10 is an option. Hey, that was nice. Okay. Let's take a look at number 3. I need a reader. Number 3, Josiah?
Does the fraction that labels the point on the number line represent 4? Choose yes or no for each number line.
Okay. So I need everyone to make sure you're paying attention because I think this is a trickier part of what we're doing. So eyes, ears, brains up here. Let's just start with A. They are saying, does the point represent 4? Okay? So everything we check, we're going to see if it's the same as 4. On A, okay, we're going up by thirds. If I have 3/3, what whole number is that the same as? Really make sure you're listening. Hudson?
1 whole.
1 whole thing. Okay? Remember, if I had a circle split into thirds and shaded them all in, 3 out of them 3, 1 whole thing is shaded. So then if I have 6 out of 3 things, what would be my whole number? Hayden?
2.
2. If I have 9 out of 3 things, or 9 with pieces of thirds, Josiah, how many do I have? 12 pieces of 1/3, I'd have 4. So you might need to label your number lines if you struggle with this, okay? You can figure out 3/3 is 1. You can figure this out. Another way to think of this, when you get to these bigger numbers, remember this is just a division problem. Hold on and listen to this. All this means is 12 divided by 3, right? We know that's 4. 9 divided by 3 is 3. 15 divided by 3 is 5, so that is what we'd put here. 6 divided by 3 is 2. And 3 divided by 3 is 1. So if you're ever doing this and you have big improper fractions and you can evenly divide them, you can tell what whole number they equal. Just a little tip. All right, let's check B. They're saying 6/3 represents 4. Someone raise your hand and tell me yes or no and how you know. Was that a hand raise, Chloe? No? Okay. Hayden?
No, because it only counts up to 2.
Yeah. We know that 3/3 is 1 whole thing, 6/3 is 2 whole thing. That won't work. Oh, we forgot to mark this as a yes. Okay, what about this one? Okay, now did our denominator change?
Yes.
Yeah, we're not doing thirds anymore, so we kind of need to take a new look at this. If I have two halves, I've got one whole thing. 4 halves would be 2 whole things. Remember, because 4 divided by 2 is 2, if you forget. 6 divided by 2 is 3. So if you forget, that's how you can figure it out. This would be 4, and this would be 5. So, does 6 halves equal 4?
No.
No. All right, one more try. Okay, this time I've still got halves. I'm going to go ahead and write my whole numbers up here because it makes it way easier to think it through. Okay, they've got 8 halves. Does that equal 4 whole things? Noah?
Yes.
Yes, it does.
It's yes, no, no, yes.
All right. We are ready for our last page. You guys have done an awesome job. Leon,
Are we doing?
eventually. All right. Shh, please stay focused, guys. So in number 4, we're doing the same type of thing. We're checking to see if things are true or false.
This is good.
So is the fraction equivalent to 4? That is what we need to think about. So equivalent to 4 means equal to 4. Choose true or false for each question. 4 equals 16/4. Now think it through. We don't have a picture to look at, but remember I said 16/4. It's the same thing as saying 16 divided by 4. Does that equal 4?
Yeah.
So does this work?
Yep.
Sure does. True thing. Okay, this one. We want to see, remember, if it can balance over the equal sign, this side has a value of 4. Is 20/5 or 20 divided by 5 the same as 4?
Yep.
Angie?
Yes.
It sure is. Check.
No.
All right, this one. They are saying that the value of 4 is the same as the value of 36ths. Now, if you're not sure, and you could draw a number line, or you could think, all right, well, this really means 30 divided by 6. Who knows what that is? Noah?
5.
5. So does 5 equal 4?
No.
No, that wouldn't balance. We'd have a tippy scale. So we're going to have to say false. All right, now this time, we've got 4 is the same as 28/7. I could draw a picture and count all of my pieces, or, remember, this just means 28 divided by 7. Who's got my answer? Josiah? 4. So
true.
that works.
True, true, true.
All right. So if you don't remember anything else that I taught you today, remember, when you've got improper fractions like these, you can always look to see if you can evenly divide them and make it a whole number. All right, number 5. I need someone to read my directions. Noah?
Write a fraction equivalent to 3 with a numerator of 3. Draw a diagram to show why your fraction is correct.
Okay, this one is tricky. Does anyone have an idea how we could start? Because we're not just going to start guessing numbers. We're going to draw a diagram, which is going to be a number line. So how could we start this? Noah?
1/3.
He's right. Okay, we need our denominator to, well, we need our numerator to be 3.
3 1s.
So let's just start. Draw your number line.
3 3. How many do we need?
Oh, I don't know. I'm just kind of making a generic number line.
Okay.
So on a problem like this, I'm being honest. Mrs. Harris' thinking is, it's going to be one of those type of math things that's kind of creative. I don't immediately know exactly what I'm doing, so I just kind of think about my tools. And one tool we all know how to use is a number line. So my fraction has to be, I'm just going to put this to represent my fraction, has to be equivalent to 3, right? That's what it said. With a numerator of 3. So numerator, top or bottom? Noah?
Top.
So I know that's not a question mark. My numerator has to be a 3. So that's what we know. So if you're like me, it helps to just write all that down. We know that our fraction will be equal to 3, and the number on the top has to be a 3. Exactly. Well, what have I taught you guys about any time I want to turn a whole number into a fraction? Can I just do something to it and make it a fraction very easily? Liam, do you remember?
Is it 1?
Yeah. Do you guys remember that? How easy that was? Anytime I want a fraction, or a whole number, I'm sorry, to become a fraction, I just throw it over a 1. Does 3 over 1 still mean 3 whole things? Yeah. So now all we got to do, let's just make a number line here, and we can say this is
1/3, 2/3, 3/3, 4/3, 5/3, 6/3. The numerator has to be on top, so it goes ones.
yeah, we don't need, you could do any denominator you wanted, but that'll make it harder.
I'm doing 3.
So yeah, I'm just going to do 1, 2, like whole numbers. So then this would be 1 over 1, 2 over 1, 3 over 1, 4 over 1. So now let's see if we've answered our question. Draw a diagram to show why your fraction is correct. Does this show that 3 over 1 is the same thing as 3 whole? I think it does. You might even want to like put a little box around it or something to show. So this seems hard. When you first look at it, sometimes they seem difficult. But you really just, if you draw like what I drew, I all of a sudden just realized, duh, I can put any number over a 1 and it's a fraction. Any questions on number 5?
Sure.
All right, thank you those of you that have been listening. Most of you. Everyone, I think besides 2 people, have done an awesome job this morning. Okay. We've got 1 problem to go. And the name is Paulina. Would anyone like to read it? Angie.
Paulina is unpacking boxes of paint tubes come in boxes of 6. Paulina has unpacked 35 6 boxes. Draw a picture to represent 35 6. Use your picture to write 35 6 as an improper fraction and help and explain how you use the picture.
Okay. So we get to draw a picture. So get your pencil, draw in hand ready.
Or marker.
Quentin, you ready? Yes, I will not be using a pencil on board. All right, so let's find our important stuff and then draw this picture. You guys can do this on your own, so you don't need to wait to watch me. Try it on your own every day in math, so that way on a test or a quiz, you're not feeling like it's a new thing. Start marking up your question. I'm going to do the same up here.
I hear a buzzing sound.
It's all right, just ignore it.
It's the neighbors.
All right. Paint tubes come in boxes of 6. Paulina has unpacked 3 5/6 boxes. Draw a picture to represent 3 5/6. Okay, I'm going to do a bar model. So each bar is 1 whole thing. So I have 3 whole things I'm going to have to shade in. So I'm going to draw these first. And then do I have part of a 4th thing? Do I have part of a 4th thing? I need everyone listening. Your quiz is tomorrow. Make sure you're still with me. So I have 3 whole things, part of a 4th thing, so that means I need to draw 5 different shapes. Or 4, I'm sorry. 4 shapes. What is my denominator that tells me how to split my shapes up? Abby?
6.
6. So in each of your different shapes, we need to split them into 6. So if you do 1 down the middle, then you can put each half into 3 pieces. That's how I do 6.
Or I just made mine into these and then put them in the middle.
Give you about 30 seconds to get that done. What do we need to shade in? Hopefully by now we've all got this drawn. So we need to show 3 and 5/6. How do I begin? Cadence?
Shading in 3.
Shade in 3 entire shapes, right? So remember, as long as you're neat enough, you can kind of do that. Okay, but just try to stay within the shape so I can tell what's going on.
Are we shading all of them?
Well, we need to shade 3 all the way, right? Because we have 3 and 5/6. So for 3 whole things, the whole shape must be shaded because the whole thing is filled.
You should have one.
All right, so that's my 3 whole things. I'm going to write that here to keep track. Now I also need to shade in my fraction of my 4th shape. So out of my 6 pieces, how many do I shade? Eric?
5.
5. Okay, so on these, you need to be a little bit neater to make sure I can tell where your shading stops.
One left.
So I added on my 5/6. Okay. So we did the first part, right? We drew a picture to represent our mixed number, 3 and 5/6. Any questions on how we drew that picture? I think you're all starting to get a little better hang of this. And then we need to use our picture to write 3 and 5/6 as an improper fraction and explain how we use the picture. Now we're pretty good at this. When I want an improper fraction, remember we could do the trick, but they didn't tell us to do that. Do I have to go through and just count how many 1/6 pieces are shaded? Yep. So everybody start counting. However, I'm going to count in a faster way. I know this is 6, and this is 6, and this is 6. So 6 times 3, 18, right? 19, 20, 21, 22, 23. So I got shh, be quiet please. I got 23/6. Hopefully you all got the same amount. Okay. So we're almost done. We have to explain now what we just did. And you all just did it, and no one asked me a question when I asked if we didn't understand. So right now you're all telling me you could write down in words what you just did. So that's what I want you to do, okay? So down here on the lines, explain how you used your picture to come up with your improper fraction. Okay, I am not going to do this one for you. Everyone please write that down. You got 1 minute.
What do we have to write?
Okay, I'll say my directions only one more time. You need to write on these lines the last part of this question. So it said use your picture we just drew to write our improper fraction and then explain on the lines how you used your picture. I've talked over it. I modeled it. Everyone right now should be writing.
I'm done. I don't understand.
Hold on. I'm going to let everyone try to write it first because most of you are fine. I am going to show, but I've got a lot of people that haven't even worked in their workbook today. So this is kind of a gotcha moment. If you're completely confused right now, I think I know why. Your quiz is tomorrow. I don't like seeing you guys fail things when you should have learned it.
I don't know what it's asking.
Okay, let me explain it one more time. Shh. We just did this whole thing together. Everyone said they got it. They're on track. They understand. We drew a picture, right, to represent 3 and 5/6. Everyone's with me. Then it said, use your picture to write 3 and 5/6 as an improper fraction, which we did right here. We did that entire step process together. Please turn around and face the front of the room. Thank you. I am sorry that you guys didn't hear again what I'm saying. So after we did that, I guess I'll tell you again exactly what we did because I think you weren't listening. We just literally went through and said how many 1/6 pieces are in our model. And we said 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And then I said, but I could say 6 times 3 because we have 3 groups of 6. But if you don't like that way, count each piece. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23. 23/6 was the answer we got. Your job is just to write in words exactly what I just spoke to you again. How did we use our picture to write that fraction? I know you know, okay? Most of you have listened. If you don't have a clue, do your best, okay? I might have you leave your books out and read this at lunch. I'm a little frustrated. Some of you just have stopped. I don't know. I can't learn for you, right? I wish I could some days. So I would say 30 more seconds. Everyone should have an idea about how we came up with 23/6. All right, Cadence, in 30 seconds, you want to share what you got? Give me 30 seconds. Or you can bounce to someone else if you'd like. Give me 20 more seconds. People are still writing. Okay, hopefully everyone's had a chance to at least write something. This shouldn't be very hard. Josiah, how in the world did we come up with 23/6 from our picture? What did we do?
We counted all the boxes.
There you go. If you still don't have an answer, please write this down. We counted, that's literally all we did, guys. You gotta listen. We counted each 1/6 box. And had 23 total. That's literally all we did. Okay. Noah.
I multiplied the mixed number.
Okay, so that works too. But make sure, like on a test, if you did that and it said use your picture to explain, make sure you use the picture. Hayden.
I said I counted all the shapes to find a fraction.
Perfect. All right, any questions on this now? If you do have a question and you don't ask me, I don't know that you have a question, okay, so you got to ask. Any questions on how we came up with our improper fraction? Okay. All right. That's it. I will see you guys later. You have a little bit of practice today that'll be very similar to what we just did. Can't find my mouse. There we go. Goodbye.